Welcome to SelfWire. I'm Dr. Paul Maxwell. I have a bachelor's in biblical languages, Greek, Hebrew, and Latin. I have my master's in divinity. I have my PhD in systematic theology with a focus on PTSD and Reformed theology. Why did I start SelfWire? Evangelicalism has become a place in which its culture has constrained its members not to engage honestly with modern intellectual questions. Psychology, philosophy, politics, all of these domains of knowledge are reduced to theology. They are hammered down under the weight of dogmatics. And this has produced an intellectual crisis for evangelicals because they can only think in one domain. They can only operate in one modality, the explicitly evangelical. And this has created a silo for the communities. Sociologists of evangelicalism have termed this intellectual crisis among evangelicals as the scandal of the evangelical mind. Some scholars say that the scandal of the evangelical mind is the fact that evangelicals don't engage with modern intellectual issues at all, which is certainly the case. Others argue that evangelicalism has so lost its distinctiveness and lost its prophetic voice that the real scandal of the evangelical mind is that evangelicalism itself doesn't exist. And so now you have movements like conservatism and leftism and the intellectual dark web, and we wonder why evangelicalism simply capitulates. Christians deserve a theologian who takes theology seriously, but who can at the same time go toe-to-toe with these modern intellectual thinkers as a proponent of its movement, as a proponent of its voice, prophetically and originally, and while doing so, not becoming a fundamentalist or a progressive Christian. Christians deserve a theological representative who is willing to step into the ring of the intellectual dark web and say, here I am, I represent this community, I'm going to think with you, I'm going to talk out loud. They deserve a public theologian who isn't bought and paid for by a seminary or a denomination or an institution or a ministry. They need somebody who has intellectual integrity because they are not publicly obligated to be who they are. All we have today in the public sphere on behalf of Christianity are Christians for hire. These are our thinkers. These are our champions. And they've done us a terrible disservice. We've hired mercenaries. And so consequently, Christianity, and especially evangelicalism, it doesn't learn. It doesn't change. And perhaps worst of all, it loses its prophetic credibility in American culture and in the modern world. And it doesn't have any intellectual self-respect. It needs somebody to go into the fray and to be an intellectual on its behalf. Because I'm done with pretending that our current guard of Christian leaders are profound when they're just regurgitating the same thing we've heard for the past 50, 60, 70, 100 years. It's not profound. And when you reduce a public intellectual issue to a matter of the gospel or a matter of theology and pretend that your competencies as a theologian transfer to other domains without requiring some originality, some thinking, some creativity, none of which is exhibited in our current circles. When you pretend that you don't need any of that you can repeat the same old slogans that you've heard, that all you need to do is become a metaphorical sloganeer and just come up with increasing new analogies for explaining the same concept over and over and over again, and that makes you an intellectual, that makes you a preacher, that makes you a prophetic authority. No. Go into the fray, go into debate, become something new, create something original. That's the purpose of orthodoxy. That's the purpose of Christianity, to bear public witness, which is something that we haven't done. We've simply publicly remembered what has been done. We've ceased creating. We've ceased originating. And I'm done pretending that what we have now is original. I'm done pretending that when I hear people just say the same thing in terms of a different metaphor, that that's profound. No, it's not. Tweeting is not profound. Facebook posting is not profound. Conceptual engagement with the issues is profound. We need somebody to do this, and I'm here to do it. Am I the best person for this? Hell no. But no one else is doing it. So here I am, and here you are. Welcome to SelfWire.